There was a comment in the chat that you wanted. I want to make sure you get a chance to talk about this, Oz, before we're done, because we're getting close to the end. Because I liked this comment that John Cook gave in the chat as well. This is kind of going back a little bit, so I wanted to wait until we wrapped up. But that particular question. But John Cook, we were talking about brain power and everything, and I think this is such a good thing to think about in general, which is John Cook said, one important thing I've learned about TTRPG is that no matter how much brain juice you have, it is still one brain versus 5 brains in terms of cleverness and storytelling. And he said, use player brains.
5 player brains, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's your one brain versus all of your other player brains collectively. So I think
I definitely advocate for it. It's not just a GM running the game for the players. You are all collaborating on the experience.
I think it's a good point because I commented it and I said that was a really good way to look at it. And I think the reason that resonated with me is because I find myself, I'm a very self-conscious GM. Or maybe a better way to put it is I'm a very I'm just self-critical and self-conscious at the same time. I'm always worried that I'm not doing a good enough job, but I think it is important to remember like you're just one person and you can't try to be the best storyteller in the room all the time, you know?
Hey, it's Cassie. Welcome.
Hey, Cassie. Yeah.
Hi, Cassie.
And I think I accidentally find myself trying to be that way sometimes. So I think that's good advice for me in terms of thinking about like I don't have to think about it that way, you know. Oz, you obviously said you wanted to bring it up. Do you have some thoughts?
Yeah, it can be very difficult to challenge 5 people. Yeah. I remember when I would play, and not that this is a tabletop RPG, but when I ran Imperial Assault, which was a Star Wars board game where it was like, you know, one person has to be the Empire and then everyone else plays the Rebels.
Yeah.
It became impossible for me to actually provide them a good challenge. And it's because I just can't properly strategize against 5. I can't do it. So I don't try to. And I think that's the most important thing to do is just you don't try in a tabletop RPG to be versus them or to like you can try to challenge them, but you also can't be disappointed when the challenge gets like subverted because that's actually part of the fun.
Sure, yeah.
With a board game, I had a lot of problems with it because I was losing out on bonuses to make future games harder for them. And like that one wasn't a role play experience. I wasn't able to provide further challenges mechanically. In a tabletop situation, I feel like I don't mind if I'm outsmarted or if my NPCs are outsmarted.
There's a narrative payoff, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. There's no narrative payoff when you just get your ass kicked in a board game.
Exactly.
Yeah, and in a TTRPG, like one thing to keep is you're always thinking like as long as I'm just helping everyone have fun, then so there's always that you can fall back on. But you're right, the board game thing, I'd never thought about that.
That said, though, when you're trying to be really clever and have a good story twist, the most important skill for me for any GM to have is to shut up and keep it to yourself, period. Don't make any hints. Don't get smug and say, something's coming, because then they're going to be looking for it and they will uncover it and then they'll ruin it. So you have to kind of do like the David Lynch school of, I don't know if you all know David Lynch, the filmmaker, but I learned a lot from him because like whenever anybody asks him about his movies, he just goes on a totally esoteric rant that has absolutely nothing to do with the question. And he just avoids it entirely. And you never know what he refuses to mention. He refuses to tell you what's going on. And I think it's very important to, you have to just, the satisfaction is going to come eventually when you reveal it, if you get a chance to ever actually reveal it.
Yeah. Good point. Especially if the twist is the thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So